You need a calm intensity. Calm intensity.
I just love it so much.
Welcome to the edge of nowhere. They're playing games at the edges of what we know. Monster Lore Tour Podcast.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 92nd episode of the Monster Lore Tour Paranormal Deep Dives from the Edge of Nowhere podcast.
Did you get me a sweater? It's getting cold, Jeremy.
92nd episode, Moz. I am your host, Jeremy Carr, here along with my co-host and the tortoise to my hair, Mr. Matt Ozero, a.k.a. the Moz, as I just mentioned. How are we doing today, Moz?
Can we go with Yertle, the Yertle to my turtle?
Ooh.
The Susieing it up a little bit.
Yeah, the Yertle to my turtle. And the Yertle to my turtle. Mr. Matt Ozero, a.k.a. the Moz. How are we doing today,
That's a good one.
Moz?
That's a very good one.
That is pretty good.
Well done.
It doesn't make as much sense
No.
in literal fashion, but yeah, in Susian fashion, it's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All this turtle talk because we're talking today about
The slow start. It's turtles. Yeah.
turtle monsters.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, that's why it's such a slow start.
Yes, exactly.
I should have done the open like this. All right.
Come back here.
Although your episodes tend to be long enough as it is. Although from what you've said, this is going to be maybe one of your shortest.
This is more of a spotlight critter. We're doing the turtles. We do have a lot to talk about because my short is everybody else's,
Full length, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much going to be an odyssey.
That's why the ladies love you, Moz.
I know. I would have stayed with
starting
Calypso,
early.
to be
I'm
honest
getting
with
there
you.
too early.
Just going to say that for the record. But we discovered on our last trip back from today, like an hour ago.
Yeah, like just now.
Just now. That we like the same book. And most people say The Stand's the best Stephen King, and I said, I think it's between that and the whole Gunslinger series.
And I said, The Stand ain't got nothing on the Gunslinger.
Yeah, and I agree. I think we decided that our favorite is actually the Gunslinger, so you mentioned the turtle in it and got me the quote. That's going to be our mood quote for this start.
It's the opener. Nice.
The opener. See the turtle of enormous girth. On his shell he holds the earth. His thought is slow, but always kind. He holds us all within his mind. On his back all vows are made. He sees the truth, but mayn't aid. He loves the land and loves the sea, and even loves a child like me. And that was Child Roland.
Child Roland, Death Jane, the Gunslinger.
Child Roland to his dark turtle came. but then you said there's another one, and I don't know who said this other one.
That is spoken later in, I think, book 5 by one of the women in the story that she adds to the...
Yeah, and this is very similar. Yeah, it's a continuation in a way. On his back the truth is carried, and there are love and duty married. He loves the land and loves the sea, and even loves a child like me.
But that is Malturin, is that his name?
Malturn, thank you for reminding me. The giant turtle... Which is the world turtle.
He is actually in the Gunslinger specifically. Yeah. He is the head of the Guardians. Like there's 12 Guardians of the portals to the tower.
Yeah.
They fight the Bear Guardian, but the Turtle Guardian is seen as like the Guardian,
right,
of all Guardians. And apparently he pops up in other Stephen King places. Like he is the eternal enemy of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other piece of that is it's a portal guardian, and we've,
Oh, yeah.
And we talked about this a little bit. We'll be mentioning turtles up all the way up, turtles all the way down.
Yeah.
So we will be discussing.
See, and that's the difference with MLT. With everybody else, it's turtles all the way down, but with Moz, they go all the way up.
And down.
And down.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So thank you for that. I really, I had trouble with the mood quote, and we thought about it on the way here. So good job.
Nice.
But here's some background on these dark reptoidal monstrosities. Brief overview of species of giant unknown turtles comes from George Eberhart's Bestiaries, Mysterious Creatures, which will be in the show notes. I'll be relying on him a little heavily today. Turtles, order Testosterons and Chelonia, Chelonia, are unique among vertebrates in having a shell that incorporates both dermal armor, vertebrae, and ribs. Other characteristics include a lengthened neck, limb, girdles that lie within the rib cage, a keratinous beak instead of teeth, and limbs that retract into the shell, except in the marine variety. The earliest turtles date back to the late Triassic, 210 million years ago. They could not withdraw their heads into the shell, this group, so to overcome this vulnerability, they asked other giant carnivores at the time to bite their ass. I think that still goes on today. But
Bite my ass.
Bite my ass. We do have, that's the time. We do have a related us file, which we discovered on the way here. We have a friend, Greg, who was in episode, offhand?
Oh, man, that was so long. A 30-something?
30-something.
Rock Shop Greg's ghosting Gould stories or something.
And he was attacked by a turtle and was bit on the ass. So we have to follow up on the story. So that's as close as we got to an us file for turtles. And we got it out of the way pretty quick.
He actually got bit in the ass by a turtle, huh?
Yes, that is true.
Might do that in the side trail.
And actually, Alex Bone told us that. So
we're foreshadowing the side trail. Muzz doesn't know yet. I wrote the side trail for us.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about that in the side trail.
There you go. But turtles can be found in freshwater, saltwater, and on land, so highly adaptable critters. One of the hot spots for giant turtles, as we shall see, is the Indian Ocean. Info for our living large or Titanic and toast. That's where we have the biggest ones that died in the past, or the biggest ones that are still alive today.
Are they still around?
Yeah. Here's again from Eberhart's Bestiary, who gave us much good leads tonight, and I think he's just going to be our Mad Cujo's winner. Let's get all of them.
Mad Cujo's.
Down, boy!
Let's do all our segments. Let's start cooking.
El Guano. Woo, woo, woo. Wolfman Talk.
There you go.
Okay, we're done. We'll see you next month, everybody.
Scene end. As for living in large, our largest living specimen, turtle-wise, quote, and this comes from Eberhart again, the largest living turtle is the Pacific leatherback, which is found throughout the Pacific and Indian Oceans and averages 6 to 7 feet from beak to tail. The largest freshwater turtle is the alligator snapping turtle, which has an average length of 15 to 26 inches and a record length of 31.5 inches, weighs upward of 300 pounds. That's the biggest one recorded. We have ones that we're going to be talking about that are much bigger in the saltwater and freshwater variety today. There's definitely monstrous things being cited throughout history.
I saw snapping turtles in Lake Winnipesaukee that were big enough to get stuck between the piers of the dock.
Yeah.
At my uncle's old lake house.
Yeah.
I swear those things were 3 feet across.
Yeah, they could
Had to be.
They could be. Now, we'll be talking about ones that may be 33 feet, so we'll see what...
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
For Titanic and toast, these are ones back from the fossil record, ... still Eberhart. The largest known fossil turtle, Archelon iscaros, measured up to 16 feet long and 12 feet wide and may have weighed as much as 11,000 pounds.
Wow.
It lived some 70 million years ago in marine waters of the late Cretaceous. Its fossils have been found in South Dakota, Kansas, and Colorado.
Oh, wild.
Eberhart claims...
Do you know how much soup you can make with that turtle?
Yeah, turtle soup. And I don't think we should do that for wolf. I don't know what I put for my Wolfman Pup, but hopefully we didn't do that. Maybe I did. I don't know. We'll see. But Eberhart claims the alligator snapper and other enormous marine cryptids, as well as a couple of land tortoises, may have survived until more recently, or at least so the story goes. I did the American newspaper thing through that Chronicles of America.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we have the newspaper search. I always like to caveat that. These are old stories, yellow journalism. There's perhaps some exaggeration going on, but we did find them in newspapers, so they're worthy of mention.
Actual newspaper
clippings. March 8th, 1900, the White Pine News of Treasure City, Nevada, covers the story of a turtle from Maine described as the size of a wash tub.
That's pretty good.
A Chicago newspaper from October 28th, 1915, known as the Day Book, reports a turtle found to be 7 foot 8 inches.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
holy crap.
large,
That's a big turtle.
Large and in charge. Let's see what else we got.
You could so ride that. I would so ride that thing around.
Of course you would. 1930 Washington Times newspaper story speaks to the discovery of a 9-foot-long turtle that weighed 1,600 pounds.
Wow.
Yep, that's from the Washington Times. I may put these in the show notes, to be determined. I also found a story about a 1,900-pound turtle mentioned in the Connecticut Western News in June 27th, 1907. And that was another big one, but it was 1,900 pounds coming in at.
Wow.
But Connecticut Western News, I guess if you're from Cape Cod, that's a Western. Like if you live on Cape Cod,
I don't know if you want to get into it, but there's very distinctly an Eastern and Western Connecticut.
Ah, okay.
To put it the most simply, Eastern Connecticut, Yankees fans. Western Connecticut, Red Sox fans.
I understand. There's the divide.
That's
Thank
the
you
easy
for
way to
explaining that. A guy from Massachusetts.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I was across the Long Island Sound. So I
All
didn't
my
know what
friends
you're
from
talking about
Connecticut come from Western Connecticut.
There you go. There you go.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
There you go. Moving away from the old newspaper hunt around the web, this from MSN.com. I found this article, which will be in the show notes, on humongous snapping turtles, Chonkosaurus, caught on camera by kayakers. Yeah.
Chonkosaurus.
Yes. And it was supposed to be a big one, but, you know.
Nice.
Yep. Turtle symbolism. We're going to do that real quick. I used my handy-dandy Zolar's Encyclopedia and Dictionary of Dreams for this one. If you see a turtle in your dream, it could mean you will soon have an opportunity for advancement. If you dream of cooking turtles, you will gain wealth and influence.
Huh?
And catching a sea turtle means you have secret enemies.
Ooh.
So the good news is that we'll be cooking one probably tonight. And
I'm already thinking about cooking one now.
Exactly. So if we do one for Wolfman Puck, it'll bring us great wealth and influence.
Well, you are ending early.
I know. That's it. We're done.
Yeah, Wolfman Puck's at the end.
Done.
At the end, Moss.
I gotcha.
We've done it twice already.
I'm just, But I'm also adding this one. If you dream of turtles before your performance in the Summer Olympics, there's going to be no podium finish. You should probably not quit your job with your father's tile and flooring industry company and just kind of stick with your day job.
Can I remind you that the tortoise won the race against the hare?
Okay, but in the Summer Olympics, if you're dreaming of a turtle, I still don't think that's a great song.
You just miss all the morals, don't you, Moz?
No, I'm just saying. Well, I'm not Zolar. All right, we'll leave the rest to Zolar. We'll agree to disagree on that one.
Okay.
Per Carl Jung, the tortoise can be an alchemical instrument. Here's Jung, quote, "Gleams like the shell of a tortoise, which primitive and cold-blooded like the snake symbolizes the instinctual side of the unconscious."
Ooh, so it's like an archetype,
that
Jungian stuff.
From Jung whole dreams. And yes, everything seems to be, there's this hybridity we've seen that it represents the unconscious. We've talked about this with frogs. We talked about this with crocodiles.
It's the amphibious thing. It can do the water and the land. That puts it into that liminal space.
Right. And then the other piece of it is conscious versus unconscious, obfuscated mind versus reality kind of thing. So, but no surprise.
I'll obfuscate your mind.
Yeah, I bet you will.
Sorry, I have to say it once it's in my brain.
Yep, it's true. Mythic turtles, and moving mythward toward the monster turtle origin mythos stories. There's an Egyptian turtle-headed god who guards the underworld, or one of the guards downtown, a place called Tuat, Tuat. This turtle god is named Shetu, or Shethu, and like the Jungian archetype, it's described as both snake and turtle-like. India and Japan, they kind of win for the turtle mythos. There's a lot of Indian and Japanese
That kind of takes me back, the snake and turtle-like. Yeah. That reminds me of episode 2, Slinky the Sea Serpent.
Yeah, there you go.
Where some people who saw
a turtle
said it looked like a sea turtle head.
Sea turtle head, yeah.
But other people said it was other things because they were kind of referencing what they knew because they weren't thinking serpent.
Good call back to episode 2.
Episode 2,
there you go.
Slinky the Sea Serpent.
There you go. But in Hindu or Vedic traditions, even the second incarnation of Vishnu himself is known as Kurma, Kurma, which was a massive turtle believed to have churned the primal oceans. See how wrong Sesame Street got this? It's Kurma the frog. It should be Kurma the turtle. Just saying. Jim Henson again didn't check with us before he went to post. Yeah. But Hindu mythology has literally, at its base, the world propped and resting on 4 humongous turtles. So that's kind of a common...
And under the turtles, more turtles, and then turtles and turtles and turtles.
Actually, not in this case. We have that thing where the 4 elephants prop the turtle, and then the 4 elephants
right.
Yeah. But I think the turtles are... the turtle is called Akopara or Chukwa or, again, Kurma. And then he's standing on these 4 gigantic elephants that are at the cardinal points. Most of you are more familiar with, of course, Terry Pratchett's of Discworld fame. You know the giant turtle is great Atuin, and it's the same kind of setup, which he obviously borrows. Pratchett is best known for Maz's creation of the Discworld divination game, as seen on MLT podcasts.
From our last episode, right?
We just did that yesterday, correct. As for all this...
it was in the side trail or something? I don't even remember what we did.
It was in the side trail.
We literally did it yesterday.
We did it yesterday. Remember. It was brilliant. we decided the world's going to end in 2 months, which is the bad part.
Oh, right. It's part 1 of the side trail.
Yeah. So it's going to end. Hopefully we get this posted before then.
The side trails will be out after this as a collection.
So we'll be dead by then. Never mind. And scene. As for all this mythology, not only are giant turtles paddling about the Indian Ocean, apparently there's also tales of a 6-foot land turtles as well, lumbering around India and Pakistan.
Wow, yeah.
So either fossils or actual run-ins with these Goliaths, either or both, may have inspired a lot of this rich turtle cosmology we're going to be talking about today. Or someone licked a frog and had a hallucination about a turtle. Guess there's my aho guano. We are done today.
Yeah, there you go.
We're done and done. But again, for the same area comes rumors of a fantastically large turtles in and around the Indian Ocean. Pliny the Elder speaks of a 20-foot-long specimen, which again makes you wonder when exactly the giant chelonians actually went extinct and what the largest remaining ones may be today, particularly out there in our oceans.
Yeah.
Pliny added the shells of some of these beasts were large enough to use as roofs of cottages. Here's some of that Pliny action from the Natural History of Pliny. Quote, Pliny, who published his work on natural history about AD 77, states that the turtles of the Indian Sea are of such vast size that a single shell is sufficient to roof a habitable cottage, and among the islands of the Red Sea the navigation is mostly carried on in boats formed from his shell.
Wow.
Linus, about the middle of the 3rd century of the era, is more specific in his statement and says that the Indian river tortoise is very large and in size not less than a boat of fair magnitude. Also, in speaking of the Great Sea, in which Taprobana, Ceylon, he says, there are very large tortoises generated in the sea, the shell of which is large enough to make an entire roof, for a single one reaches the length of 15 cubits, so that not a few people are able to live beneath it and certainly secure themselves from the vehement rays of the sun. They make a broad shade and so resist rain, and they are preferable for this purpose to tiles, nor does this rain beating against them sound otherwise than if it would be falling on tiles, nor indeed
it's bone.
Yeah, nor indeed do those who inhabit them have any necessity for repairing them, as in the case of broken tiles, for the whole roof is made of one solid shell, so it has the appearance of a cavernous or undermined rock and a natural roof. And
dude, that's the best roof you could possibly ask for.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool.
And that, again, the Natural History from Pliny. That's translated by J. Bostock in the show notes.
I do wonder environmental factors in this. Like, if there's, I don't know what makes a turtle grow bigger, but if there's, way more oxygen in the water or something like that, or, makes their food grow way more profoundly. So there's like endless food supply, and then they just keep eating and eating and eating, and they can grow to as big as the ocean in their diet will allow.
Yep.
Because I know there's lizards that do that. They grow literally to the size they have to move in and the amount of food they get to eat.
Yep.
So, I mean, are turtles like that? I don't really know, but I think it's a pertinent question, because if conditions were way better for turtles to grow big back then, why not have turtles that big? And if he's writing about how everybody's
using them as
their
roofs.
houses with it.
Yeah, it sounds like it was almost a like you would see this.
Yeah, like it's all over the place.
It is Pliny the Elder, and again, we have, mixed, it's fantastic creatures time, and how much of this is just stories he heard, or how much was exaggerated by him, we do not know. This is old stuff. But at the same time, a lot of people have a lot of sightings of giant turtles, as we're about to see. So it's not just Pliny. People are talking about these things all over the place. And that's not the only source from back in the day suggesting the Indian Ocean was home to gigantic turtles. This from Charles Gould's book, Myth and Monsters. El-Idrisi, in his great geographical work, completed AD 1154, speaks of them as existing down to this day. But as his book is admitted to be a compilation from all preceding geographical works, he may have been simply quoting, without special acknowledgement, the statements given above. He says, speaking of
I'm sorry, that was the nicest way of accusing someone of plagiarism I've ever heard.
He says, speaking of the Sea of Herkind, the Indian Ocean west of Ceylon, it contains turtles 20 cubits long, containing within them as many as 1,000 eggs. Large tortoises formerly inhabited the Masurian Islands, but have been destroyed on all of them, with the exception of the small uninhabited Aldabara Islands, north of Seychelles Group, and those formerly abundant on the Galapagos Islands, are now represented by only a few survivors, and the species rapidly approaches extinction. That again from Charles Gould, Mythical Monsters. A cubit is an ancient measurement from elbow to fingertip, by the way. So it does vary from, like Alex Bone, that would be really big.
Considered to be around 20 inches, 18 to 21 inches.
Oh, you looked it up?
Is the standard range of cubit. Yeah. So it's a little bit of a variable range.
Yeah.
Call it about 20 inches.
There you go. Let's do it. Also from Hindu mythology, I found an ancient being called Kashyapa, or Turtle Man. According to Joseph Campbell and his Hero of 1,000 Faces, this Turtle Man, quote, married 13 of the daughters of a still more ancient demiurgic patriarch Daksha, the Lord of Virtue. 2 of these daughters, Diti and Aditi by name, had given birth respectively to the Titans and the gods. So it was like, again, a grandfather turtle. So again, it goes back to like these archaic times. These Titans and gods, of course, start immediately warring with each other, as gods and Titans are oft to do. But they also have a common lineage back to, again, our grandfather turtle.
There you go.
When the turtle snaps your thumbs off, bring him tobacco. It's something like that kind of thing. Which is a good segue to Native Americans, by the way. Fun fact, Native Americans call their home Turtle Island because the rough resemblance of North America to a giant turtle, which begs the question, who saw this to make that connection? This is where we show a meme of Giorgio Circulos, and the rest is self-explanatory.
They saw it with their flying machines, man.
There you go. But it's also similar to the Never-Ending Story, where we have this giant turtle. Yeah, exactly. That guy.
I'm sorry, everybody. It's a switch in my head. I hear the title, and I have to do that.
There you go. The unendliche Geschichte. And bringing it more cryptid word, there's actually a turtle-sized island, or better yet, if I say it right, an island-sized turtle. I think I said that wrong.
That was better.
I have a turtle-sized island to sell you in Florida, Jeremy. It's 100 cubits.
Yeah.
Going
if you have
fast.
an island-sized turtle, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'll buy
I think
that.
it's Zaratan is the name of this island-sized turtle. It's the one that they show often depicted with just all these trees on its back, and it comes out of the water people have been living on, don't realize it's a turtle.
Yeah.
So there's some big ones out there. China has some cool turtle mythos.
Are we going to do the Never-Ending Story one?
Let's do it. Yeah. You have more information on the Never-Ending Story.
I do, because I looked it up just because I forgot his name, and I found a thing I wanted to read. But his name.
Thank you. Sorry, I jumped past that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the Never-Ending Story turtle is named Morla. This is from my DuckDuckGo AI assistant. It says, the turtle in the Never-Ending Story is named Morla the Ancient One, who is considered the wisest being in the land of Fantastica. Morla lives in the swamps of sadness and provides guidance to the protagonist Atreyu during his quest.
Nice.
But see, they call him the wisest being in all the land. And in Stephen King's The Dark Tower, as we said, the turtle is like the top of the 12 guardians. He is the guardian of the guardians.
Yeah.
And you just talked about some other places where the turtle is seen as like the wise grandfather, or like the, that. So they tend to be, say, the bottom totem.
I was just trying to figure out, because it seems like the top and the bottom would be the turtle.
Ooh, that's even, there you go. That's why I was having a hard time wrapping my brain around it.
That's just my thought.
Because it's like, it's the foundation holding it up.
Yeah,
but it's also at the top where it's like the most enlightened, right?
It should be all turtle. Turtles all the way up.
Oh my God, the totem is turtles all the way up and down.
There we go. We figured it out.
Whoa.
We solved the mystery of life, the universe, and everything.
Well, it just seems to be...
And it's 42 turtles.
It seems to be a very often used symbol for the wisest. It's almost like an owl-y thing.
Yes.
Where it's wise and
old
knowing
owl.
and it has like a little more power than the rest of them.
Yes.
Almost like if they don't use the turtle, they use the owl. It's almost like it has that same role.
Yeah. And more, I mean, he seemed more like a very nihilistic turtle from back in the day. So he had some good lines.
He didn't care enough to know if he cared.
Right. He didn't care enough to know if he cared. And I think that's perfect. So good for him.
Yeah.
But again, China has some cool turtle mythos. China boasts the owl, I guess. This from good old Wiki. In Chinese mythology, owl is a gigantic sea turtle, and it carries the earth upon its back. Its main food consists of fire. In some legend, the turtle lived in the South China Sea during the time of the formation of the world, when the goddess Nuwa, creator of mankind, was repairing the sky after a disaster. She chopped off owl's 4 legs and used them as supports.
Yikes.
Yeah, good times.
Went a little sideways at the end there, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, it had 4 legs. It probably stood up. But
boy.
There's also the Wangliang, Wangilining, which is a malevolent spirit roaming Chinese folklore. But one type of Wangliang, again per wiki, comes, is called the Yu, which is described as a poisonous 3-legged turtle that causes malaria. So it's associated with illness. I feel like a mosquito lobbyist probably started that rumor.
So the evil turtle only has 3 legs.
Yeah.
It has the dysmorphia again, like the monsters do.
The 3-legged coyote.
Bones 3-legged coyote, yeah.
And in East Asia, also claims to house a giant 6-footed turtle called the pearl turtle. This is also found in Eberhart's bestiary as well, but I found this one from Teresa Bane's work, the dragon turtle. In Chinese folklore, the dragon turtle appeared after the world was destroyed so he may restore order and assume the responsibility of creating the earth and the heavens. This task took him 18,000 years to achieve. According to the Qing dynasty, Qing, scholar Hao Yixing, dragon turtles were dragons who had turtle-like bodies. One species of dragon turtle, the Jidaio, was said to have a snake's head and a turtle's body. The fat taken from these creatures was described as being finer than butter and would leak through a copper pot or pottery container. The only way to hold it was to put the substance in a chicken's eggshell. So there's only one way to hold it.
Whoa.
That again from Teresa Bane's bestiary.
And they're blending the serpent and the turtle again.
Yeah.
That's interesting symbology.
You got to blend before you saute. See, we're back to the Wolfman Puck episode. My grandmother only used real turtle butter.
It was thinner than butter and would fall
you couldn't
through
keep
the
it.
pan.
Yeah, you could not.
You needed a chicken's egg shell.
Chicken's egg to hold it. So it was like not. It's not
ghee.
HTO.
It's turtle ghee.
Turtle ghee.
Turtle ghee.
There you go. But again, the somatic. Yeah, I think we've got some basket ingredients going here already.
We're building a
Wolfman's Puck. Again, this amalgam of all things reptilian and or dragon is common. On this one I found, let's jump into the action. It's a battle already in progress. This from Myths and Legends of China, which will be in the show notes. Quote, mad with rage, Wu Yun seized his club and tried to fell his enemy. But Chan Ti summoned a discipline who appeared with a bamboo pole. This he thrust out like a fishing rod, and on the hook at the end of the line attached to the pole dangled a large golden bearded turtle. This was the immortal Wu Un, now in his original form of the spiritual turtle. The disciple seated himself on its back, and both disappearing into space, returned to the western heavens. That from Legends and Myths of China again.
I like it.
Yeah, so we got the, turtle is great vehicle. We just covered our turtle spiritual section, I think.
Yeah.
So no need to return to that, or we might be. But there is more to it. There's hints of a creature-teacher effect with the kappa, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's the old wise one.
Yeah.
The old wise one is always a teacher.
We do get a little creature-teachery, and I love that component to when monsters teach. They either eat you or teach you.
Well, they always have a lesson for us one way or another.
Yep. Good, bad, or ugly.
Yeah.
But there's also some...
Freddy is in your dream for a reason, kids.
Yeah, exactly. So listen to Freddy. But there's also some art healing, such bones. Yeah, that's right. This is it. I'm here already. I didn't think we were going to get here already, but the art of healing, such as bone setting, was believed to be taught by the Kappa. That's the piece I think we're going to get to. But side note, there's also fairly widespread practice back in the day of throwing turtle shells into fire and reading the cracks as a divination tool. Even Dean Radin mentions that in his... Oh, yeah? Entangled Minds.
Oh, I haven't read that one. I read the content.
But I found it in several places, so there's different places where people were throwing in turtle shells and reading the cracks for divination purposes. So it's kind of widespread.
How it broke from the fire.
Yeah, how it cracks. Yeah, that's the divination piece. Interesting. Balinese mythology has a giant turtle carrying the world on its back as well, a variation that influenced Hinduism and Vedic lore again. But it's also called either Bedawang Nala or simply Bedawang. He has a very good friend in Rome, you know. There are endless monster turtles back in the global mythos. Who knew? You know, I didn't know, but it is endless. I thought that like turtles and frogs would be even because I already did it, but for those who don't know, I did a frog episode. There's way more giant monstrous turtles out there than frogs. Who knew?
Well,
now we know.
Now you got me thinking that turtles might actually at times be able to grow that big.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I mean, there's a lot of
just environmental conditions might actually allow for that at some point.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know again, this is a giantism moment. The biggest one is pretty damn big.
Pretty friggin' big.
Especially when you talk marine, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, the ocean. There's huge things in the ocean, man.
But switching Greek word, Theseus of Labyrinth and Minotaur fame, he runs into some trouble while traveling between Troezen and Athens. He runs into 6 nasty hybrid, often therianthropic monsters on the road, so to speak, with Bob and Bing. No one's going to know who those people are anymore, but forget that. What I was thinking writing that. One of these monsters teams up with a giant turtle. This while he is, so basically Theseus is crossing the Isthmus of Corinth. And there's this dude, Skyron, standing on a Sciron. He's standing near a cliff. He's kind of a portal guardian style thing. He's demanding people wash his feet for passage.
Ugh,
so he has this little basin out there, and as people proceed to wash their feet, he finds a way to like kick them off the cliff. They fall to the rocks below. This giant sea turtle, then, which he's in cahoots with, comes out and feeds on the body, and it's some kind of a sacrifice. Yeah.
Yikes.
I know. Good times, right?
He's just a big bully.
I know. But basically Theseus fools him and kicks Skyron out, and he dashes on the rocks. The turtle eats him. That's obviously the end of the turtle. Eventually is waiting around there and like probably is like shit, and eventually has to like wander off.
No, the curse now is that you still got to feed the turtle.
Yes, he's going to go somewhere else to eat.
How are you going to feed the turtle?
He's going to go to the beach,
Yeah.
the nearby beach.
Yeah, there's a deeper lesson in that story.
Yep. But, and yes, according to crypto great Bernard Heuvelmans, a giant turtle is mentioned. Heuvelman. A giant turtle is mentioned in Sumerian legend. Here's Eberhart covering that action. Quote, as the 3 caravels sailed east along the southern coast of the Dominican Republic in early September 1494, Christopher Columbus and his crew saw a whale-sized turtle that kept its head out of the water, had a long tail with a fin on either side. March 30th, 1883, the schooner Annie L. Hall sighted what looked like a capsized ship on the Grand Banks, or of the Azores, if you go by the longitude provided, in the North Atlantic Ocean. However, it turned out to be a turtle 40 feet long, or 30 feet wide, and 30 feet from apex of the back to the bottom of the undershell. Flippers were 20 feet long. This report was apparently confused in contemporary newspapers with a more conventional 100-foot-long sea monster sighting that took place in November 1883 by Captain W.L. Green and some fishermen off Long Branch, New Jersey. On March 8th, 1955, Alejandro Velasco was stranded on a raft off the Gulf of Uraba, Colombia, when he saw a yellow turtle about 14 feet long. In June 1956, the cargo steamer Rhapsody reported a 45-foot-long turtle with a white carapace south of Nova Scotia, had flippers 15 feet long, and could raise its head 8 feet out of the water. This is a ship
and
seeing this.
And it was white?
On September 13th, 1959, Tex Geddes and James Gavin were fishing off Soa in the Inner Hebrides, Scotland. when they saw the head and back of a huge animal approach them until it was only 20 yards away. Its body was 4 to 8 feet broad at the waterline, and the back was 2 feet to 6 inches high. They watched it for 5 minutes, after which it dived and swam further out to sea. Last one, in August 1971, Nessie hunter Tim Dinsdale discovered a huge dead turtle in a storage shed in Mallaig on the coast of Scotland, not far from Swa. He estimated it weighing 1,500 pounds.
Wow.
So these are, again, why did the 71... From 1971, why didn't we get pictures? Why didn't we get a body? What happened there?
Yeah.
We have a mention of Annie Hall, so we should give a little Diane Keaton shout out this week for her passing. I think
that's right. She died.
She died this week, and Annie Hall's mentioned in our episode we're doing this week. So
mad Cujos, Diane.
Mad Cujos. And these are some big, whole ships are seeing these large things and reporting these things, and I have a, back to the first Columbus account, the Dominican Republic is known. By the way, Christopher Columbus also saw a giant orb following his ships. They must have been on some serious...
It's a weird amount of paranormally kind of stories around Christopher Columbus. For some reason.
There really is. His journal was filled with weirdness.
I think they just saw a lot of stuff they had never seen before and didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
But that first one, there was a lot going on in what you just read. That was kind of mind-boggling. But the couple things that really stood out to me was that first one with Columbus with the long tail with some kind of fin on it.
Yeah.
That's almost sea serpent-y more than turtle-y. And like they just saw the head looked like a turtle. That again brings me back to episode 2 and the concept of the sea serpent. Yeah. But the stuff that almost hit me harder was there was a yellow one.
It was a yellow turtle, yeah.
And the giant white one.
Yeah, different colors.
Yeah, like that's really weird, like a giant albino turtle.
Yeah, there you go. It's Moby.
What?
Yeah, Yertle the Moby turtle.
Moby turtle.
There you go.
Moby Yertle.
But back to Columbus, the Dominican Republic is known to harbor a giant turtle. He's not the only one who saw a large one around the Caribbean. I heard similar stories back in the day so this is the closest I have to an US file. About a decade ago, I chartered a boat to go looking for this monster. Fine, I went on a booze cruise in the DR. Whatever.
Same thing.
But I did seriously ask the captain. I'd heard these stories, and I asked the captain while he's driving this ship so we could snorkel and drink. And I said, have you seen any grande tortugas, giant turtles? Mm-hmm. And because he says there's turtles everywhere. I said, no, have you seen any grande tortugas, big turtles? Yeah. He laughed. He said, no, have another Mama Juana. So I did. It's end of the US file.
Keep
end
drinking,
of the charter. Keep drinking. But I did try. So that's as close as I get to an US file.
Oh, no, I give you props for asking. I do, actually.
That actually did happen. But that last bit, that big bit, was from Leyland's Algonquin Legends of New England, or Myths and Folklore of the Micmac. Again, that big one was from Eberhart's Bestiary, one of our Mad Cujos winners tonight. It's this next one that's coming from C.G. Leyland's 1884 Algonquin Legends of New England, or Myths and Folklore of the Micmac. And it's found in the Tales of Glooskap. And we talked about him because he's related to Nanabotso. We talked about basically the hair, the guy who brought otter medicine, but he was actually the hare, and is all around kind of the Great Lakes. They have Nanabotso or Manabotso or Glooskap. He kind of shows up in a lot of varieties and a lot of different tribes, but he's a similar character who kind of brings medicine in the first shamanic order to that region.
So he's Prometheus of medicine.
He's one of those guys, and we talked about him as one of the proto shaman when we talked about a lot of proto shamans. He was one of the first.
Yeah, I do recognize the name.
Yeah, so in this tale, Glooskap's lazy uncle eventually becomes the first turtle by blowing tobacco on him while he's suspended on top of his father-in-law's lodge, so Glooskap turns him into a turtle. So so basically the turtles come from Glooskap, blowing on his lazy uncle and turning him into a turtle because he's slow. It's a moral. It's more of a moral story.
Yeah.
One of those one. Passamaquoddy and Micmac. So that's your area. That's kind of the...
Yeah, that's northeast.
It's closer to the Massachusettsy.
Yeah.
I guess Glooskap moves closer to that region. And Manabotso is more around the Great Lakes. I guess that's my guess. I hope I'm right with that.
Like New York and New England, kind of what we would call now, yeah.
Yep. And that's from C.G. Leyland's The Algonquin Legends of New England, or Myths and Folklore of the Micmac, Passamaquoddy, and the Penobscot tribes. Yeah, that's all that Massachusetts.
Penobscot's right up over there, yeah.
Yep. And Glooskap, we'll get back to Proto-Shaman someday, for sure.
Penobscot is the Mohegan Sun Casino tribe, isn't it? If I remember right. I've been living in Arizona too long. I don't really have it all straight in my head.
Yeah, that's that area for sure. There's the giant turtle Ogua, Ogua, is known to live in West Virginia and Pennsylvania's Monongahela River. There's an account from 1745, and I found one as recent in 1983. This thing is known to eat people, dragging bodies down to its underwater caves to dine on them later. Eyewitnesses suggest this thing is between 15 and 20 feet in length. Some claim this thing is much larger, with the tail alone topping 15 feet in length.
That sounds like a crocodile.
Still others have reported a row of spikes along its turtle-like shell. Yeah, and that sounds more like a crocodile.
Big fat crocodile.
See, I went with, because I'm such a molder, I went with Angulus, the kaiju from Godzilla movies, or the Ankylosaurus from the fossil record. It's a crocodile. I just go
I'm
with
thinking massive
critters.
crocodile.
But I think we're going to go, to leave this one here, but this could be its own spotlight critter one of these days on MLT. I can't fit everything into a 2-hour turtle episode.
Sure. There's even too many turtles.
There's even too many
because it's turtles all the way up and down. As we have already established.
This is why I'm also starting a squirrel file, But I also found
God, I'm looking forward to that already.
I know. We got to do this. I also found a couple more noteworthy turtle monsters, though, in Teresa Bain's work. I think that means we have another Mad Cujos. I don't think I've ever given Teresa Bain's Mad Cujos, and I mention her a lot.
Wow, Teresa Bain's Mad Cujo.
Down boy!
Yeah, there you go.
That's 3 already. That's pretty good. We haven't done 3 in a while.
This from Bain's Bestiary, the Ludjalako, Ludgalako. Quote, a gigantic bull turtle from the folk tale of the southeastern Indians. Ludjalako lives in a lake. Though not initially dangerous to humans, they were to ride upon its back. They would discover by the time he reached the water's edge, they would be stuck to his shell. See what would happen to you, Jeremy? No matter how hard they plead or yell to pull at their limbs to make the escape, they will stay fastened to the shell as the creature slips into the water and submerges.
See, and it's all, and this may sound like duh, but it's all about the shell. You know what I mean? The turtle is all about the shell.
Yeah.
And from using it for a roof on your house to making musical instruments out of it, to just everything, the more mystical and, even voodoo-y sort of applications people have come up with for it. Something about the turtle shell. And even Jung is calling it out as some sort of like inherent archetype in our subconscious.
Yeah.
Something about the turtle's shell.
Yeah. And what does it sound like? And I'm going to put you on the spot now. Other folklore, you get stuck to this thing and it goes under the water. Does that remind you of anything? We've talked about this stuff. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Honestly, the first thing that comes to mind, because I am who I am, is a fish reference in the song Esther, where the little puppet drowns her at the end.
There you go. No.
But no, I know that's not what you were getting at.
No, the Kelpie and the Selkie and all those horses and all those horse monsters, and even in Australia, we've got similar. You ride something and then it just takes off to the water and drowns you.
Yeah.
So there's a common theme in folklore for getting on the back of some monster or getting stuck to it and then being dragged.
Right. We learned that kangaroos will do that to you. If you ever see a kangaroo standing in water, just standing there looking at you, do not go in that water because it will drown you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why it's standing there looking at you. It's waiting for you to come into the water.
They are assholes.
Oh, they're terrible.
Yeah.
They're so mean. Like, they're mean.
What about squirrels versus kangaroo episode? Let's expand on that. I mean, they're similar. Okay. We already did rabbits.
What would win in a fight? A kangaroo or a kangaroo-sized squirrel?
Dang. I'm going with a squirrel. That big?
That big?
Yeah. that big.
I think it would be the squirrel, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I went with the squirrel.
Like all other things being equal.
Yes. Yeah.
Squirrel every time, right?
I'm with you. But again, Asiatic and Indian Ocean are hotspots of this legend. Number 2 from Bane is the strong toad. Quote,
nice.
A species of toad from Chilean folklore. The strong toads are described as having tortoise shell upon their back. These toads glow like a firefly and have the ability to attract or to repel anything they can cast their glare upon. The strong toads are so difficult to kill. The only way to destroy one is to completely reduce its body to ashes. So I'm going to ask Alex Bone. Alex Bone, would you attack this with an axe?
Right.
We decided.
Dude, it's Hypnotoad.
Hypnotoad.
It can attract or repel anything it puts its eyes on.
Yeah.
All hail Hypnotoad. They should have put a turtle shell on Hypnotoad. I got to write a letter to Futurama.
I want to know if Alex Bone would attack this with an axe. And that's going to be...
That? Oh, he would 100%. I can tell you that.
I don't think so. Because it says that you can't kill this thing. And if he knows that, Alex Bone is smart.
Well, you would need some sorcery or something.
But sometimes he's just a big Viking and he tries to kill a giant turtle with an axe. So we'll have to ask him. We'll have to see what he says.
Turtle ensconced frog.
Yes, it's a frog ensconced turtle. I mean, it's a turtle ensconced frog. You're right. Exactly. Yes, you got it. We got it wrong the first time.
I didn't think that turtle monsters would be so hard on the brain.
Here's the third turtle from Bane's bestiary. The Skiergert. I don't know how to, I have no idea how to say this. Sggeargert. Quote, in Sumatran folklore, the father of all turtles is a gigantic sea turtle or sea serpent living in warm waters with many turtle-like features, such as large and prominent eyes, a scaled back, and a very wide mouth, which, when open, will seem to split its head in two. So it's a very odd beast, that one. But that brings us to tonight's spotlight critter, one of a couple, I believe. The Beast of Busco. Do you ever hear of this one? This coverage comes among our first Mad Cujos winners, back to George Eberhart. Here is the entry from his Mysterious Creatures. Quote, the Beast of Busco is also known as the Giant Turtle of Indiana. Etymology, short for Churubusco, Indiana. Variant names, Oscar Phantom, Churubusco Turtle. Physical descriptions, turtle said to be as big as a dining room table or a car.
Whoa.
Weight 100 to 500 pounds. Distribution, Folks Lake near Churubusco, Indiana. Black Oak Swamp near Hammond, Indiana. Significant sightings. Oscar Folk saw a huge turtle in Folks Lake in 1898. It was seen again in 1914. And then in July 1948, when Ora Blue and Charlie Wilson glimpsed it while fishing, Gail Harris, on whose farm the turtle was spotted, launched a major effort to catch the animal. In March 1949, employing scuba divers, deep-sea gear, a female sea turtle, a sump pump, and a dredging crane to drain the lake. The Fort Wayne's newspaper played up the story. Thousands of people trampled across the farm looking for the turtle. On October 13th, about 200 people were devoured by the turtle. No, that didn't happen, kids.
That would have been my favorite ending.
On October 13th, about 200 people got their wish as the turtle leapt from the water to try to catch a duck.
Oh, wow.
It used as a lure, but by December, the draining efforts were failing. Harris fell ill with appendicitis, called the search off. A documentary film about the event called The Hunt for Oscar was made in 1994 by Terry Duran. When a swamp was drained near Black Oak, Indiana in July 1950, a huge turtle with a head as big as a human's was seen swimming around a drain leading into the Little Calumet River. So that's nearby, basically. So that's the whole account from Mysterious Creatures. Again, Eberhart, our Mad Cujos winner. But that is his coverage of the Beast of Busco.
The crowd ended up actually getting a sighting of the turtle.
Later in a nearby drainage.
And then it popped up again. It said the crowd saw it jump up at the duck, but then it was also seen again, or at least a very similar one was seen again.
Yep. So
that's interesting.
Yep.
Because in my mind, if there's one, there's probably more. It's like a family, probably a small pod of turtles or whatever you would call it. What makes
this story, and I've read this in different books, actually. I think Heather Frigoli mentions this one as well. Not sure. One of these other ones does. And just reading this account, I mean, this person, it doesn't seem like they benefited from this. This was a big event, and they were just trying to really find this thing, failed, damaged their property, tried to drain their swamp. The person gets sick and calls off. It doesn't seem like they were really driven by, they weren't happy that people had showed up, trampled across their farm to see this thing. Like, it wasn't like there's a stand and a P.T. Barnum, come see the giant turtle of Busco. It just seems like someone saw something and it ended up
They were probably trying to catch it so that they could then cash in on it.
Maybe. but the point being, there seems something to this, that there was at least something fairly large with turtle was probably in this.
I always like when it's confirmed by a group sighting.
Yeah. Some people did.
That's
say
always
they
a
saw
good part.
It, you know.
I did just look it up, by the way. A group of turtles.
A murder
is called a bale. Bale.
That's hay, actually.
I'm just telling you what the interweb told me.
Well, no, I like that we're doing that. Owls was parliament, and ravens is murder. Vampires is a what? Do you know?
No, crows are murder. Ravens is an inconvenience.
Oh,
an inconvenience of ravens.
Thank you for
that. Might be my favorite.
That's awesome. It's inconvenient that I got that wrong about ravens.
It's a troop of monkeys.
Yeah, let's talk about this nevermore.
Nice.
But Spotlight Creature 2. It's from Colonial America Monsters. Be in the show notes. Having given a background to the subject, I offer the following account preserved in the Independent Gazetteer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The Independent Gazetteer of the Chronicle of Freedom, published in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on Saturday, June 3rd, 1786, entitled Extract of a Letter from an Officer on the Ohio to his parents in Windham, Connecticut, which contains the following. A creature of the amphibious kind by the Indians called back to Oguaco, O-Q-U-A-O, is not the least remarkable among the innumerable curiosities with which this country abounds. This animal has 2 heads, a property which perhaps belongs not to any other in existence. His tail is 15 feet long, otherwise he is some measure resembles a turtle. By day, the aquia is rarely seen, then he lies close in his retreat underwater, but at night he wanders abroad to satisfy his hunger. The deer are his favorite game, and his manner of taking them is insidious and cruel. He places himself in a deer path, where without motion, he makes them wash his feet, and then he kicks them. No, that's a different story.
That's the other guy.
That's the other guy. And having the appearance of a lump more than any animal, he waits for the approach of his unsuspecting prey.
He can literally just lay in the middle of the road, and they just think it's a bump in the road.
Yeah. The deer strides heedless over his destroyer, who throws out his tail, entwines him in a moment, drags him in spite of all his resilience to the next creek, and there drowns and devours him.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you know what that sounds like? Is the Columbus sighting with the turtle with the long tail with the kind of a fluke on the end.
Yeah.
That's similar. That sounds similar to that.
Yeah.
I mean, it made me think sea serpent at first, but if you're getting more long-tailed turtle stories.
It's true. Continuing with the quote, one of these uncommon animals was discovered last week by a soldier early in the morning as he was dragging off the booty of the night. Several gentlemen who were there went immediately in quest of him, and as these creatures are far from being swift, he was soon overtaken. With great difficulty, after having borne the strokes of a dozen clubs for nearly half an hour, he was killed. Whoa. Happily for us, he held his prey to the last, otherwise our attempt might have been attended with some danger. His eyes had such a malignant keenness that I could not help regarding the very sight of him, and being truly horrid, we released the deer, which was already dead, from his fatal grip, brought him home and weighed him, the aqueo, and found his weight 444 pounds. One can choose to believe whether the above account is fictive or based in reality. Perhaps it was an encounter with an extremely large alligator, which now are not native to the Ohio Valley. The rare blue-eyed albino alligators of the southern swamps, which are occasionally encountered today, relate, however, that abnormalities do occur at times within the animal kingdom. That from Colonial American Monsters again, in the show notes.
Yeah, and like niche species, where like people come into an area where very few people have been, and there's all of a sudden this creature no one's really seen before. it might be something that just lived there and was very anomalous to that, specific area.
You mentioned it. You said
and then
alligator.
You kill 3 of them, and it's enough to decimate their population to where they can't maintain their population anymore. You know what I mean? Like, some species are very gently balanced like that, and especially if they're really big like that.
Yeah.
It's probably a very specific balance going on in their environment that allows them to be like that. And if any little thing gets thrown off, something that big is like much more sensitive to environmental and climatic changes and things, right?
Oh, I mean, if they do exist. I was going to go back to your suggestion of an alligator, because they're saying, we go back far enough with these stories, they had never seen an alligator, some of these folks.
There you go. Like a huge fat crocodile or big fat alligator. Yeah, you might think turtle if you've never seen that before.
And they have albino alligators, they said. So the white one could have been a giant, like back to, so back to,
Have you ever seen the Nile crocodile at Mandalay Bay in Vegas in their big aquarium?
I have been to the Mandalay Bay one, and I don't remember a giant albino.
Yeah, it's like right near the.
I remember the
like
Shark's
the first
Reef.
thing you see.
I remember the Shark's Reef losing a lot of money, and I got in a fight with someone. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Sounds right. Yeah. So anyway, moving on. The main key numero uno spotlight critter tonight. We haven't even got to yet. The Kappa. Kappa.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
The main turtle beastie tonight hails from Japan, and as mentioned, he's a badass. He's a demon, sometimes spotted with the head of a turtle. It's reported as having webbed hands and feet, spotted shell, and size-wise, it's only described as about the size of an 11-year-old boy, but that's its alternate name, Kawataro, river boy or river child. For its size, though, it's supposed to be unusually strong and powerful. They are chameleon-like, with some of the folklore even pointing to an ability to shapeshift into human form. These are the usually, they're very poorly behaved beasties. They eat.
This is the Kappas, so I wonder if the Koopas from Mario Brothers are based on this whole concept.
There you go, idea. I believe Gamera would be. Gamera probably is.
There you go. Yep.
But they like to eat cucumbers and humans, by the way. So they're particularly fond of the liver of humans with fava beans and a nice Chianti. Although they prefer humans, they have been known to go after animals, particularly horses. So this is a not Kelpie, back to Kelpies. They also are lecherous, and they're kind of rapey. They're kind of trickstery and rapey. So lots of reasons to stay away from these things. Women are believed to have been impregnated by the Kappa, but the monster's progeny are often buried shortly after birth. There are said to be as many of a dozen major types or species of Kappa. They're scaly and reptilian-like, but also therianthropic with an almost humanoid shape. I think green is the most common color, but yellow or blue have also been reported. Kappa can travel. Again, this goes back to Indiana.
Yeah.
I mean, not Indiana, but some of our other sightings had yellow.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But Kappa can travel on land as long as their head cavity remains full. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Head cavity remains full.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
But there's, again, this is a kind of a prankster, He has some kind of prankster and trickstery kind of elements. There's also the Shirikodama, a mythical ball said to contain the soul of, basically it's the soul of the human is supposed to be in the ass, and this Kappa goes for it. So it's definitely
the brain of the human is in its ass.
That I totally believe. This is the only myth that makes so much sense.
So much sense.
There's also
I agree.
But the Shirikodama is what it's called, and it's a mythical ball. But they drain this power upon death, or they actually remove it from the victim. So they're looking for this thing because it is associated with energy. Could be associated with just the root chakra. Yeah, I have no. It's the prostate. Our soul? I have no idea. But
is it in our butt?
I guess so. I think that's, of all the things from mythology we've ever read about, I believe that one with humanity today.
That our brain is in our butt.
I think that we think.
Yeah.
And done. Oh, goodness. Locomotion, they prefer swimming, of course, but on land they're often seen on all fours, but they also can be seen on two legs, like the Navajo Chindi. They can walk. Where these things are spots, again, that therianthropic humanoid quality. Where these things are spotted, it was not uncommon in the past to find signs like shark warnings, beware of kappa. They'd actually close beaches in Japan saying kappa sighting.
Wow.
It's like we have Sasquatch crossing signs in the Pacific Northwest. It's kind of a little more extreme. They don't close the forest, I don't think.
The jackalope crossing signs.
Yeah, there you go. But this overview from Joshua Friedman, Japanese Myths, A Guide to Gods, Heroes, and Spirits. Quote, kappa are the size of small children, as reflected in their name, derived from a contraction of kawa warawa, or river child. When they first appear in medieval records, they were portrayed as more childlike and amoral than strictly malicious. Again, trickster quality, by the way, unquote. But while they, again, quote, while they do like to drown and devour people, it's not outright malice, hence their exceedingly polite and friendly demeanor, even when facing their prey. So there's also this cordial piece to them, as we're going to find out about in a little bit with some of their behaviors. And this from the Handbook of Japanese Mythology by Michael Ashkenaza has more to say about these little head cavities we were talking about. Quote, a water creature reputed to seduce people into rivers or ponds, then drown them. The kappa has the body of a monkey and a tortoise-like shell covering its torso. On the top of its head, the kappa has a depression that is filled with water. On land, this may be covered by a metal cap. This depression allows the creature to live on land unless someone caused the kappa to spill the water, whereupon it becomes helpless. This could be done by tripping it or by bowing. The kappa is extremely polite and will always bow back, spilling the fluid and rendering itself helpless. So again,
whoa! So it's like a slave to the formality.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, with certain vampires, if you drop rice, they have to stop it because they have OCD.
Yeah,
this thing's like, oh, the guy's bowing. You know,
or they like need permission to come in your house to kill you.
But it's very tied into Japanese culture because everybody bows there, and this is just This is another, the humanoid part of that does that. It seems very not that piece of its personality doesn't match any of the other tricksterous qualities. I don't know why they follow one thing. Everything else are kind of, jerks. And then this one area, they'll be like, oh, he's bowing.
Yeah. Huh.
Also from the Handbook of Japanese Mythology points to a smidge of the creature teacher tucked into this legend as well, as they can give both gifts and teachings, but usually just death. So this might be the bear and the monkey, the Banjakri.
Oh, yeah.
If you pass the test, they don't go for the mythical ball and try to kill you.
And they had the monkey in the turtle shell too.
That's
which
right.
is an interesting reference.
That's right. And you'll see this. I don't know if I get to this, but there are a lot of different variations of the kappa. They said it was a lot of species. I mentioned that, and they are described differently depending. It falls under a whole grouping of, I guess, strange sightings.
So do you think
kappa sightings?
Do you think it has shape-shifting going on, or is it just very chimeric, or is it more weird morphology?
They say some shape-shifting, and I think we get to that. And I know I mentioned that already, and I think we get into some specifics. But they're rare. Usually they're just these creatures of the water.
Okay.
They are expert wrestlers, and that is one of the main skills they also may teach, if inclined to do so. One of the ways to win over a kappa or even make them your eternal slave, if you find one, bowing with water spilled out of their head cavity, if you refill it, they are then indebted to you. So that's a way to kind of enslave them.
Buddy, I'm getting myself one.
You want a jaguar and a kappa to have around.
I do. I
don't think you should keep them around. They don't seem very trainable.
I just want a giant turtle to ride.
Yeah.
I think it'll be so cool.
Yeah, have Aunt Martha stay over and it goes for the mythical ball in her ass. It's going to be there's going to be a lot of explaining to do, Jeremy, with that visit. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't go there. But the real heyday for these creatures seems to be the Edo period, 1603 to 1867, wherein a lot of effort was spent trying to find out what these things were, and significant art and literature kind of focused on this time period and these creatures. One specimen was believed to have been captured during this time period and sketched by an area artist. So there's a lot of
what sounds like verifiable sightings of these things.
Yeah,
like a lot of them.
This is Japan. If they put up signs saying kappa sighting and close a beach up until however many decades ago, I don't know exactly, but that's something. That says something about what they were thinking. Kappa are also connected to protection. When floods and catastrophes loom, people leave out cucumbers as offerings to the kappa So there's kind of this guardian spirit component and quality as well. We talk about all the overlap. Most of it seems tricksterous. Most of it seems bad. They're drowning you. They're doing terrible things. But then there's also this creature-teacher component. They might teach you wrestling. They might teach you, again, that healing of bones piece. Or they may be given cucumbers so they avoid a hurricane and actually don't lay your town waste. So there's this guardian elemental component to the whole thing. So
that's a lot to get in return for just a cucumber.
There you go. Exactly. But here's perhaps the most frightening turtle story imaginable, and it relates to something we said on the drive from Tucson.
Is this when Greg gets bit in the ass?
That one we talked about too. But this one's scary. A very old senator from Kentucky and Speaker of the House named Mitch McConnell once came out of his shell to block Barack Obama's nomination of would-be SCOTUS member Merrick Garland. That is a scary turtle story.
Speaking of Yertle.
Yeah. Speaking of Yertle. Yeah.
Such a turtle without a shell.
I want in the future we're going to tell those scary stories around a campfire. That's going to be one of them. And kids, this old turtle. Best defense. You already heard some. Do you remember any of them? What do you do when you see a kappa?
You bow.
There you go. You got the main one.
Yeah. That's pretty easy.
Or there's an offering.
Cucumber.
There you go. And Heather
All you gotta do
Fregolia
is carry a cucumber and you're good.
Yep. Heather Fregolia goes into this, and there are monsters and mythical creatures from around the world, which is in the show notes. But I'm not going to go over it. It's the same. I think we just said you already got it.
But see, you got to know that. You got to know that all you got to do is bow, or this thing's going to eat you.
That's true. The other ones are sesame oil work, sesame seed works, iron or ginger or Marianne.
In what way do I get to rub it all over myself? Because sesame seed oil and ginger, I will definitely rub that all over myself.
There you go. There you go. I'm not going to go there with that because I just I was still thinking about Gilligan's Island, everybody, and this is a family show. Another technique.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Another So we have another warning. We needed another warning for this show.
Oh, no.
No one should just have a warning before. No one should ever listen to this, ever under any circumstances.
Anyone who's listened to us knows you shouldn't listen to this.
So awesome. Can we get that on a t-shirt, right?
Don't
we should just
listen
have
to this
a thing.
podcast.
We should have Alex Bone do an opening for all of our shows. You should not listen to this program. It's really awful. Yeah. I think you do a great job.
Yeah.
But another technique, if you lived in an area with water infested with kappa, you could carve family members' names into cucumbers as an offering. And the legend is these turtles would read the name and would spare those family members from harm.
Wow.
Carrying cucumbers can also work because you can throw them at them when they show up. So you just walk around with them, kind of thing.
Right.
So, but that's pretty much best defense. Oh, I don't have Dream Team.
Could you rid yourself of your enemies by staking them down to the top of a pile of cucumbers?
Yeah, because the kappas would come and devour them.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go. It's a good idea. And you can drink out of the shell of your enemies.
Ooh.
What's your best defense? I don't have a Dream Team for best defense.
We just carry around cucumbers and bow a lot.
Yeah, but who are you going to bring? Oh, you see, you don't need anybody. You can do this. You got.
I will bring.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'll hire some Japanese dude that likes to bow a lot.
Yeah.
Go to the source.
I'm going to bring the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, dude, that's pretty good. Did we use it? Did we use them already?
I don't know. I'm going to use the one we didn't use, like Michelangelo.
I'm going to one up you. You know who you got to bring is Splinter, because he's the one that actually
Splinter
trains the turtles.
Ninja Turtle. Oh,
he's the rat that trains the turtle.
The rat that trains. Yes.
You got to bring the rat to face the turtle.
You won best defense.
Nice.
Well done, sir.
Nice.
Well done. This brings us to theories. One theory, and this is just the discussion piece of this. What these might be and what we might glean from this. One theory of what these things might be is that it's the wrong category. There are giant salamanders out there. There are crocodiles out there, as we talked about. These could be just a misidentification.
A lot of them sounds like it could just really actually be a big fat crocodile.
Well, that's
it really does. Not all of them by any means, but a number of them.
But let's hear about what Eberhart, our Mad Cujo's winner, thinks about what Busco might be. Possible explanations. Quote, the alligator snapping turtle. Macroclemis tamaniki reportedly grows to a maximum weight of 400 pounds. It has a huge head with hooked upper and lower beaks, prominent dorsal keels, and an extra row of scutes at the side of the carapace. It lives almost exclusively in the Mississippi River drainage area, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, may occasionally migrate further afield. Other Eberhart theories here, quote, the Atlantic leatherback turtle. Throughout North Atlantic, from Newfoundland to British Isles, it can reach 7 to 8 feet. It has a longitudinal ridges on its back, but no jagged ridges. It rarely exceeds 800 pounds. These are still monstrous things.
Oh, yeah.
2, a surviving Archelon iscarus, the largest known turtle, measured up to 16 feet long, 12 feet wide, and may have weighed as much as 11,000 pounds.
That's crazy.
But that's 70 million years ago.
That's still, like, just the fact that,
yeah.
Well, that just shows that a turtle can get that big.
Yep. That's back to, actually, I think we covered that in our Living Large and our ones that are Titanic and Toast. Those would be in the Titanic and Toast family.
Yeah, those are the guys you put a house or a roof on your house with, yeah.
And what would be your guess for why there's less Kappa stories today?
I think I already covered it. I think we're just kind of watching the ongoing extinction event happen, and after the Ice Age, all the big stuff started dying, and the bigger you are, the easier you fall. And I think that maybe back in the day, people were seeing them, but there's just less and less of them as we go, and that's why we're seeing less and less of them as we go. Yeah,
the only thing to add to that, because that's what pretty much I wrote, the only thing to add to that is, say, pollution, which is,
just the whole thing,
the whole ecosystems collapsing.
The natural and man-made reasons why the climate is changing, environments are changing, and, there's less places for them to live, and the chemicals in the ocean, or, the CO2 and the oxygen and all the levels of things in the water have changed over the years for all these different reasons.
Yes.
And some of them are man-caused and some of them are nature. And I mean, you get into stuff like this and it's like, here in the Southwest, we're going into a very natural, what we know to be a 1,200-year drought cycle, where the drought gets really bad every 1,200 years here. We're going into that on the natural side, on top of global warming.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Good time.
How bad is it actually going to get?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but, you look at things like that in the world, and there's no wonder that if we have these big, oversized kind of species, they're going to be the first to go when things start going that way, What
if the mythical ball in our ass was actually our brains and it just fell out already, and that's the end of mankind? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know. I have an ahuguano related to this extinction event, and I don't know if it's our ahuguano theory yet, but it's up to you whether you play the thing.
You're hosting. If it's the ahuguano, it's the ahuguano.
Don't know. I'm reading this.
Well, let's go then. Ahuguano theory of the week. Oh no, here it comes. Quick, to the batshit signal.
They were hunted to extinction by swarms of teeming scullymuggles.
Yeah. Wow.
They hunted down. They didn't believe it, but they found them and killed them anyway, and then hid the bodies. Yeah.
I'm going to take that into the philosophical realm and say they were killed by the nothing because of the scullymuggles with no imagination.
I know. They killed it.
Back to the never-ending story.
That's right.
Such big, strong hands.
That's our president, too.
Because people stopped thinking with their imagination, so all the things that were being imagined stopped being able to exist.
Yeah.
Then we created the nothing. The nothing got them.
You solved it.
The never-ending nothing.
It does come back to some terrible movie in the 80s. It all does. Actually, it wasn't terrible.
That is a great movie.
It was a good movie. It was a good movie.
You want to see a terrible movie that we thought was good back then? Watch The Dark Crystal. It's so bad.
So it doesn't stand the test of time?
Oh, it's so bad. I remember.
I thought they were both. I liked them
child.
both. I liked them both back in the day.
Yeah, loved them both as a kid. Watched them both as an adult. Never-ending story. Like, that's still one of the best movies ever.
Yeah.
Dark Crystal. It was like,
wow,
what is this crap? Like, why did I like this? Like, it's really that bad. Like, it was almost like
sad.
Angering how bad it was.
We
and
always
that, like,
do that. Oh, it's just a shame.
What were they convincing us of?
Oh, and we always do that bit. Oh, it's sad. It makes me sad. I'm not going to go back and watch it now. I'll tell you that.
Don't. Just save the memory of liking it. It's much less traumatic that way.
Another theory is these things change through time. Myth changes through time, and your favorite anthropologist, Yasmin Musherbash, kind of always goes into these things anthropologically, why they're always evolving and changing. Her coverage of the Gamashiro, an old Japanese legend, was another monster believed to roam the seas, devouring swimmers. And she thinks, quote, having previously lurked in the ocean in southwest Japan, threatening to pull swimmers underwater, this monster had not faded from living memory and merely being talked about as a variation of the famous Kappa. So again, she talks about how things evolve. She talks about things being lumped together as one thing, and then over time, these things kind of evolve into different beasts. They have different missions. They have different meaning over time, and they tend to evolve. And she talks about with the Wendigo as well. So we're going to kind of get back to that when we do some Wendigo stuff.
There you go.
So yeah, that's kind of on deck. Some of the Wendigo stuff is coming. And then you talk about Gamashiro. That's more Gamera, actually, now that I think about it. So that's maybe more where that comes from. But today the Kappa has melded further into a more cartoonish or animated character along the lines of the Best Defense Mutant Ninja Turtles. Kappa is likely the inspiration behind the kaiju for Gamera. Oh, I did make that connection.
There you go.
So there you go. See how I am? Another theory comes from the Japanese Book of Mythology. That'll be in the show notes as well. Quote, some authors suggest that the Kappa represents in conventional form some of the tragedies of human life in pre-industrial Japan, babies that have been aborted or killed as a means of population control, and possibly the mothers of unwanted children who have drowned themselves in grief. This supposition is strengthened by the Kappa's appearance, babyish and thin, the water depression perhaps representing the infant's fontanelle. So this is a creepier one for sure.
Yeah, that got dark.
That got dark. Yeah, it should have come with a warning. Handbook of Japanese Mythology. Again, Michael Ashkenazi. I think we've quoted him a couple times tonight. And a lighter, more fun and weirder connection, perhaps. The kappa opioid receptor is in the brain. It's kind of, that there's actually a receptor called the kappa opioid. So you got opioids, you got the kappa, you got turtle, you got heroin. Sounds like a party to me. It's got to be something there. And trickster. You got the
It's some kind of party.
It's some kind of party. We're going to go more into trickster and the synaptic cleft at some point, I believe.
Ooh, the synaptic cleft.
Yeah. But
I can barely even say it.
That brings us to Sir Richard Scullymuggle's Skeptics Review.
Uh-oh.
There isn't much evidence, film or otherwise, to support the existence of such giant turtle creatures, so you can almost hear Dana Scully saying, there's no such thing as giant turtle monsters, Mulder. Yet the mythos is lousy with them, and people still sometimes report seeing giant turtles across the globe, including PA, West Virginia, and Indiana today. I mean, not just from around the world, they're around our backyard here. Which again always brings me to, what is the largest specimen on any land one or any sea one? And I think they get freakishly large to begin with. So if we see one with giantism, this is going to be a bad run-in, depending on your little picnic lake vacation.
Yeah.
But the mytho, I don't understand. I think why we haven't, seen one, and, if they've seen these things, they know they get this big. Again, why can't we get a specimen? That always annoys me. But you go back a century or so, and the kappa was believed to reside in a number of lakes and rivers through Japan. The Tanashimori province was a hot spot of activity for them. Some of the reason the myth is waning is the evidence for this thing is, Bigfoot in America, we have all these sightings. Kappas are really kind of not as prevalent.
Well, things in the water are harder to see. But there's we're in the Skeptics Review now. Mm-hmm. Things like, you do have to ask questions like Pliny the Elder talking about how people are using these things to roof their houses on a regular basis. If they were really that common back then, even it being that long ago, if they were being used like that by people, we should be finding them. Along with all these other archaeological finds that we're making, have we found any giant turtle shells that were, maybe have been being used as roofs?
Well, the roofs, those should still exist because they're like I said, they're these giant things that
they might
still be
broken and stuff, but they would be there, and we would find them along with their pottery and the other remains that we're finding at all these archaeological sites. If they were actually roofing their houses with them, shouldn't we have found some of those by now too?
Very good point. And the other thing is that there are a couple of temples that were always just like the Yeti, boasting to house these mummified or otherwise, the parts of a kappa, just like there were parts of the Yeti spread out. And many of these temples that allegedly housed these things, and they said, by the way, mermaids, ogres, and the Tengu are also supposed to exist in different temples on top of the Yeti. But these eventually get subjected to DNA testing, and they end up, falling short of really proving anything, so.
Right.
Except for a delicious side of our upcoming Wolfman Puck segment.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to that.
There's even one that's supposed to be in a brewery, by the way. So we'll get to that. I tied that into my Wolfman Puck episode.
Nice.
But over the years, small bone fragments, and you know the drill. They come up with monkey. Full specimen was proved to be a creative chimeric taxidermist. So they basically took the pieces of things, put it together, and called it a kappa. That's the problem with, being the molders of the world. We really have this uphill battle because, some of the stuff, I think some of these things do potentially exist, yet we can't seem to quite wrap our hands around them or get the biggest shell that even exists today.
Yeah.
We have the giant squid. We actually have Hogzilla. If there's a 1,000-pound javelina type wild boar out there, we found some big things.
A turtle is
I
that
think
type.
The turtle is one of, but it should. You're right. The shell should still be there.
We should have more
a giant shell.
Physical evidence.
Unless they find the shells and they think they're much older, and we're not getting the right carbon dating on things either. They find it and they assume it's older than it is. Because these things existed. They found them, and they might think they're older or assume they're older.
Going to little Graham Hancock here. If the coastal peoples back then were using these things for their roofs, and then the sea levels rose 100 feet, those roofs are underwater, and we don't do archaeology underwater. Mm-hmm. So you can find reasons why we wouldn't have found it.
Right.
You can find, if it was if they were only common enough that the people who lived right on the water were doing it. And the sea level has risen that much because there have been some big jumps in sea level over time.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just not finding it because we haven't gone down far enough.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. And I do get annoyed. I get annoyed because so many people seem to have seen over the centuries reporting these things. And we should just, some scuba diver at some point should find a giant turtle shell. And then, again, they do exist in the fossil record. Are they being confused? I don't know.
They're just saying they're older than they actually are.
I don't know. We should be able to figure it out. But maybe you get somebody, I don't know. I don't even want to speculate. I don't know why we can't find something and say, hey, this is only 1,000 years old and it's a giant turtle shell.
Yeah, it doesn't even feel like that unlikely of a thing, that a turtle could just all of a sudden become gigantic like that.
No, because they're already large. We were just talking about, again, a little larger than the known species is monstrous. And, I don't know. That's where
because even the ones we have found and we know about, some of them are pretty freaking huge for a turtle.
Big things to have a run-in with. But that brings us to our Wolfman Puck.
Nice. Wolfman Puck's Cryptid Culinary Corner.
Your entree, sir. Smells good.
I'm going to go first, so give you time to make something up and win. You haven't been doing that as much as the old days. Earlier on in the episodes, you just came up with
I know what I want to make, so whatever you want to do.
Oh, look, he's looking at me like, challenge accepted. You got that look. One of Kappa's remains, again, a mummified skeleton, is said to be on display at the Marasori Iki Shuso Brewery in Amari. So I am serving turtle sliders cooked in that ghee, that turtle ghee, using green food dye on those buns. So the turtle meat, it kind of looks like that's the shell is actually going to be the bun. Gruyere cheese and a garlic aioli sauce for the burger. I'll be pairing that with their award-winning umeshu, a Japanese plum wine. So it's a brewery, but they're known for this Japanese plum wine. I think it'll be a great pairing. Go for the cryptids, stay for the plum wine. That's what I'm serving, and top that. I mean, we actually have, by the way, apparently a mummified remains in a brewery. If we ever get enough like patron members and we can go on an expedition, I want to go to that brewery, see the kappa, and drink this stuff. Like that would be, and you can go out into the wilds and actually look for Turtle Man. I'll stay in the brewery.
Which I will do, because I'm going to need to do that for my Wolfman Puck's feast. Because what I need to do is go find one of these giant turtle shells so that I can then turn it into the cauldron in which I make my Playa del Mar stew. I'm going to set it up on the beach and fill it up and get the water all nice and hot. And I'm going to comb the ocean for all the tasty goodies that we can scrape up out of it and just throw it all in there and make like a big old seafood stew gumbo style. And then add the meat of the turtle back in there along with all the seafood. And, you know, plenty of that ghee, because we both got to have, you got to have the turtle ghee. Probably rub it all over the inside of the shell before we even start. So
you have to find a rock shell. Oh, go ahead, but I have a problem with this.
Okay.
Because the ghee's going to leak through the turtle shell. So you're going to have to find a giant bird, a rock. You're going to find the egg of a rock to put under the giant turtle shell to keep the ghee from running all over your patron's laps.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, so you're going to need Sinbad. You're going to need to look for a rock for it. This is going to be like a Jason and the Argonauts kind of wolf. This is a
Someone's going to have to write 7 books about it.
Wow.
It's such a feast.
Yeah. The 7th entree of Jeremy.
And served as the beverage will be Maui Coconut Porter from Maui Brewing in Maui, Hawaii. Because their logo is a big old sea turtle.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's my favorite beer.
There you go. There you go. I've seen it in your fridge. So I've taken some from your fridge. I probably shouldn't tell you that, but yeah.
Ooh,
I know. It's terrible. I know. Hey, I gave you a lot of beer this weekend, so you should be happy with that. But yeah, so there you have it.
You're lucky your wife made me coffee.
There you go. So what do we? I think we've completed our journey. Of the giant,
that's pretty cool, yeah.
The giant turtles.
My favorite is the 45-foot long white carapace turtle.
Yeah,
that's the one that's my new Moby Dick. I want to go hunt that thing down.
That's why Eberhart won our Mad Cujos. A lot of them came from his bestiary, and a lot of turtle-like creatures scurrying about.
Yeah, that was cool.
And way more than frogs. Frogs I was really excited because we had the hallucinatory component. I went into all that piece about the carotid gland, and I enjoyed that, preparing that for that reason. But there's like 3 or 4 giant turtles for every one frog you find. And the old, they're more just the old early myths of giant frogs, and turtles, same thing.
The real thing with the turtle, going into the lore and the mythology and the symbology of it, the real thing to me is how common it is in like creation stories from around the world for the turtle to be the thing holding up the whole thing.
Yeah.
To be like the foundation of existence comes down to the turtle so often.
Yeah.
Like that to me means something. Like the Jungian archetype of the turtle shell is a real thing in my mind, because it does, like so many cultures have the turtle holding up the world.
But what I don't know, and maybe where it blends, is if you go back into time to the beginning times, the undifferentiated murk that we emerged from, is it really that much different from the salamander, from the frog, from the alligator, from the snake, from the dragon, from the terrible mother, from Eric Neumann, like the Ouroboros? Is it all developed back to the reptilian base? It's
almost amphibian.
Because
that's where you came out of the water, It's always the liminal, but they can go through both realms. It's the above and below, the light and the dark. They can go through all the realms.
And if you go back to the Axis Mundi, go back to Narbi, you've got the snake, you've got the tree, but the snake is really the hoops, and the snake is at the bottom of the tree. The head is at the bottom of the tree because it's the guardian. It's by the well or the spring at the base of the tree. And if you pass in the shamanic, you can pass through the mouth of the snake to get to the tree to move up to the upper world, which could be the chakras or whatnot, because they're often looped like caduceus. Gets into all the Narby stuff, gets down to the base of, and I don't know, does the turtle have its own place in that, or is it merge into one reptilian part of the brain that's part of the base of the whole mythos in general, as far as being nature and being Mother Nature and being that representative or being that portal guardian? I don't know. I don't know if the shell, it is its own place or not. I do not know. But it does seem to be. It seems to have its own place in mythology that's a little bit pops different and is seems to have a place of honor in a way. The snake is mentioned way more times than the turtle. That's why I'm kind of afraid to do a Yig snake one, because I think it would be like a 27-parter and you'd kill me. Because it's just too much. It's like werewolves, like snakes and werewolves. I don't know how they're everywhere. Like,
the serpent's the most inherent symbol anywhere. Yeah.
And I don't know that, but the turtle is the other one that seems to have this place of honor in almost a different way. Because the snake often gets the bad guy, portal guardian thing. The turtle does have this more teachery, wise component.
It's owly to me. It is.
Yeah.
It's more similar to the owl than anything else.
I didn't find any stories about turtles as psychopomps, or certainly didn't mention that. So, and usually when we do a story about a critter, we find them in the literature as leading people to the underworld and being that leads people, the shamans, up or down.
Yeah.
I didn't find a lot of that in turtles. I mean, I found a hint of the creature teacher within the Kappa. We found little hints of it. Mm-hmm. But wrestling, but it does have the healing component. Right. But I don't know.
It's like an anti-Thulu. Instead of trying to pull the world down into the darkness, it holds it up out of the darkness.
Yeah, it's poking its head out. It's holding the world. It's the foundation. But that doesn't surprise me from a.
It's just wild symbology. Like it's hard to even figure out what
which angle.
What does that archetype really do in our subconscious? It's hard to even delve into.
I can look in and see one thing I may not have done and see if there's any more turtle and Jung connection. I'm not sure I did that route as fully as I could have.
Well, there you go. If you find it, come on back and let us know.
There you go.
Otherwise, we're going to wrap this one up. We will have a little bit more turtle stuff in the side trail, and then it will transition to turkeys, because this is our going to be our main November episode. So we'll get a little bit Thanksgiving-y with it in the side trail, but otherwise we will catch y'all next time for the next installment of the Monster Lore Tour. Check us out on all the major listening platforms. We are on YouTube. We are on Patreon, patreon.com/Monster Lore Tour. You can get the side trails right away with the episodes for just $1 a month. I don't know. What else add or subvert before we go, Moz?
I'm making tofurkey for the side trail.
Ooh, nice. Yeah. Never been a fan, but you go with that.
Hey, I'll make it.
I like real turkey too much. Turkey's like my second favorite meat after elk. But all right, we'll see you in the side trail, or we'll see you next week, or in the next episode. I don't know what we're doing anymore, but we'll see you next time here on Monster Lore Tour. Until then, tell our fellow paranerdalists out there, have a good one.
What if the mythical ball in our ass was actually our brains and it just fell out already, and that's the end of mankind?
This has been a Shut Up production.
Shut up!